Hello, Mark. It's Jonathan. Great to catch up with you today. And thank you so much for taking a few minutes to answer a few questions. Mark and Chris live in the Phoenix area here. Mark is a great friend of mine, and he and Chris are also great givers. They love to support great leaders and support so many different Christian nonprofit organizations. And so, Mark, I just want to pick your brain for a few minutes today, and I'll go easy on you. Does that sound okay?
Okay. All right.
All right. Well, Mark, my very first question is just plain and simple, and it is this: what do you love about giving?
Well,
It's been like an evolution for myself, learning about uh, giving. My whole life, I've been a kind of a minimalistic type giver and not involved in the joy of giving like, until probably maybe a decade ago or so, um, when I started reading a book by one of our pastors, Randy Alcorn. Uh, the book was entitled The Treasure Principle, just a little booklet actually, and it's the he introduced some not new concepts, not unbiblical, obviously, but uh, new to me, and opened my eyes to so many things. Uh, I think I kind of was led into reading that book because of uh, a study I was doing on rewards and of all things. So anyway, there was a particular Bible verse that moved me in the direction of that book, and that was in 2 Corinthians 9, 6. Uh, Paul talks about the cheerful giver. And if I can, I'll just read this and then I'd like to comment on it.
Yes, please.
What he says is the point is this: whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. Each one must give as he has decided in his heart, not reluctantly or under compulsion. For God loves a cheerful giver. And God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that in having all sufficiency in all things at all times, you may abound in every good work. And then he quotes from Psalm 112 about the Lord being the giver, saying he has distributed freely, he has given to the poor, his righteousness endures. And then the key verse for me was verse 10, where Paul says, he who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food will supply and multiply your seed for sowing and increase the harvest of your righteousness. And you will be enriched in every way to be generous in every way. And in the NIV, it says, you'll be enriched in every way so that you can be generous. So I guess the revelation to me was that uh, the reason what I have been given, I guess, a few years ago when we started receiving quite a lot of extra income, my wife and I, and being more uh, successful, having extra funds for different things. I read this thing and I had mixed feelings, but there's a reason why I've been given all this. And it is so that I can be generous. Giving has become more like investing. Um, the returns come later, but a lot of times uh, the returns on investment uh, I will be looking for later, and I have
Yeah,
promises of that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that is why we give.
Yeah,
That's it.
for sure. No, no, I love that. It sounds like you've been on a little bit of a journey over the past 10 years. You and I have been friends for quite a while, but I didn't know that your giving journey really uh moved to another level just really more recently in the past
Yes,
10 years or so as a result of reading that book and how you feel like God was blessing you and Chris so that you could bless others. And
yes,
so it
right.
sounds like, right, you're just not haphazardly giving out there. You really have a sense of God is providing resources specifically so that you can give, it sounds
Oh,
like. Is that accurate?
oh yes, oh yes,
Mhm.
yes. So yeah,
I love that. I love the journey that you've been on, and I've had a front row seat for it, and just to see how God is using you guys in your giving. So no, that's that really lays out a great foundation for us. So my next question is as you are considering giving to an organization, what do you look for in that organization?
Randy talks about strategic giving and being wise in your decisions as to how much, as to whom it goes to. The thing that we look for the the most are that um, is this ministry um in the mainstream of of what the Lord is wanting to do in the earth and the world, and what His mission is. And so we have begun that process. The first area was is there a sharing of the gospel? And the other is providing basic needs, food, water, shelter, and so forth. Then the other one was we have a special interest in like pregnancy resource centers and abused women and uh, needs that women have. And the other one is the persecuted church.
So Mark, let me jump in. I love that. So you're saying obviously you feel like God's given you some passion areas, stuff that you and Chris really care deeply about. And
Yes,
I
those.
love the fact that you can identify four things that are important to you guys when it comes to gaining God's direction on how to give. And I just want to repeat those. So, is an organization sharing the gospel? Um, is an organization helping in some way to meet some basic needs of people in need? You
Mhm.
also have a real heart and burden for women that need help and support. Maybe it's a pregnancy situation or a single mom or something like that. And then the last one you said is the persecuted church. And
Yes,
so those are four things that have become very important to you and Chris. And so that's sort of a sweet spot for you, it sounds like.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. I love that you're that clear on all that. That's fantastic. And I'm sure that's come as part of the journey as well. Right? When you
yes.
started
Oh,
this
yeah.
journey 10 years ago, right? You probably didn't say we're going to give to this, and this. It's
No.
been an ongoing sense of what you feel like God's saying to you and how the Spirit's leading you guys.
Yes, and it's really cool to begin to understand that because you begin to feel as though the Holy Spirit is actually putting stuff together. And
Mhm.
that just sends a little bit of a chill down my back when I think about
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
it's
love that.
and he is paying attention to uh, what we're trying to do and trying to lead us and man, wow,
Yeah,
that's just really good stuff to understand that and believe that, you know,
yeah,
that's that's
yeah.
been something that's evolved over time and
Absolutely. And I'm sure it
yeah,
will continue to evolve as well as you continue on that journey. Now, the other thing I would say, I know you're not just giving to give. That's been very clear with everything you've shared already. You're giving to not just help organizations, but make a difference out there and help move the needle, right? And so,
yeah,
so connected with that, one of my questions is, after you give a gift, how do you get a sense of the impact of that gift? How do you measure that gift, or how do you guys process sort of the ripple effect of that gift, if that makes sense?
one of the things that um, has become important, not altogether the most crucial thing, but it's an important thing is the growth and the when we do like a matching grant type deal to see how someone does and putting that together and it how almost and a lot of that has to do with how uh, your organization has enabled them uh, to know how to match the thing, and that is majorly important. But
So let
watching,
me, and Mark, let me just clarify
mm,
that. So you're saying from a giving standpoint, if you give a matching gift and see that your $5,000, as an example, turns into $25,000 for an organization, that's something that you guys look at and say, wow, that's a great investment for us as a giver. And
yes,
it's going to go a lot further, and God's going to use it right in an even bigger way because the 5,000 turned into 25. So you love
yes,
seeing the leverage of that as a giver, it sounds like.
yes, yeah. It's also good to hear their heart.
That's right.
What's how they're you can sense their passion for it, and that's majorly important is the feedback from the people that we have supported uh, and know that we are like working together on this.
I
And
love that.
so so that's been a major help for us to determine what we want to do going forward. Also, the other thing that is measuring the impact, I think, is uh, when some of the folks that we've have supported give us personal stories of the people who have been affected by the increase in funds that's come there, or you know, if there's a story and uh, about how something has impacted somebody out there that I don't even know and never will meet until heaven,
Yeah.
then um, uh, their passion about that or their story about that will just obviously gives us a great uh, boost in understanding or in uh, seeing how much impact that has
Yeah. Yeah, for
taken
sure.
place there. Yeah. So.
that is a perfect lead into my last question, which
Yeah.
is there a specific success story or something that's happened as a result of your giving that has just been a real blessing to you, or a story that stands out for you?
As far as like the success, I would say um, there's been a huge change in my wife and I personally,
Mm,
um, as as a result of our giving, and then seeing funds come in out of nowhere.
mm,
Um, this has happened. I'm sure you remember when we sold some property back in, I don't even remember what year it was. Um, Decided that that was going to go to wherever we um, could place it. That's when we started, oh man, what are we going to do? As far as individual ministries, uh, probably the biggest, the one that has been maybe affected the most, or we've seen the most, would be Quenched.
mhm,
And to see how his ministry has grown uh, exponentially.
mhm.
Um,
No, I love that. So let me just make sure I understand, because I loved what you just shared. So one of the success stories, or something that you celebrate, is even the change that you've seen in you and your wife
yes,
as you've been on this giving journey,
yeah,
which I think is awesome. And right, I think Jesus said it's more blessed to give than to receive, for a reason, right? It
yeah,
Giving done the right way changes the giver, right?
yes,
And
yes,
so I love the fact that you've highlighted that. And then of course you said that Quenched stands out for you. That's an organization that digs wells over in Nepal and other parts of the world, and as a result, shares the gospel and disciples people and trains pastors. And of course, based on the four things that you shared earlier, I can see why that's a real sweet spot for your giving. So
yes. Oh,
um,
yeah.
no, I love that. I love that. Well, Mark, thank you so much for just your few minutes today. And uh, I told you that your contract for doing this interview stipulates that I now bring you out to lunch, so I'll do that soon, and and
Yeah,
we'll get
I'm
caught
in.
up on a number of other things as well. So, but Mark, thanks so much for your time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the being able to share.
Sounds good. We'll talk soon.
Okay.